And say here on the show, don't we? We're always amazed at where these scandalous headlines of royal stories come from, seemingly with no backup, a source that remains nameless. But as ever, they're very damaging, in particular to the ones that can't speak back. Now, a lot of people I know are at odds with certain members of senior royalty because, of course, as we can now see, all thanks to the likes of Harry and Meghan, they know, for instance, that senior royals do not answer back. We saw recently, didn't we, Prince William actually step out of that when he was asked if the British monarchy were a racist family, and he answered back to that particular media. It's really bad grace to ask a question like that, particularly on an event where it's all about the charity in question, and tends to take away the the focus of the charity rather than really what it's about. And it's very sad actually when people do that. But these particular headlines I wanted to share with you because the first one is this. It's all about the former royal known as Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, and allegedly, according to this headline, he's going to be booted out of Royal Lodge. This is because, according to that particular story, King Charles has decided to slimline the money, doesn't want him living there, and could be booted out as early as September. So what's the true story behind the headlines? Well, the bottom line is this, that particular property belongs to the Crown. It's on Crown land. So nobody can boot anybody out. The other side of the story is this, that King Charles could suggest to his younger brother that perhaps he may need to downsize, as this is a 30-bedroom property. Let's not forget it would cost a lot to run a property of that level, and in particular people who have to look after them, servants, cleaning, that sort of stuff. Now, of course, let's not forget also that his former wife, the Duchess of York, also lives at Royal Lodge with him. The same headlines, it's speculated exactly how the Duchess of York has been able to buy a Mews townhouse in the very heart of London, the very luxurious Mayfair. And the paper decided to dig up the deeds to find out exactly who owned what. Now, according to them, it appears that the Duchess paid outright 4 point something million for that particular house with no need for a mortgage, speculating the fact that, according to them, it looks like her daughters could have in fact assisted in the purchase of the house because she's often claiming not to be with money. Now, I'm not going to reveal exactly private details of the Duchess's financial status, but what I can tell you is simply this. The bottom line is this is seen as an investment piece for her and her daughters in the future. And it makes perfect sense that they should be on the deeds that are not made public. After all, it's just, the way life goes, isn't it? Eventually these things get passed down. But the speculative detail about exactly where did Sarah get that money from, as if she snapped open a Gucci handbag and just suddenly pulled out 4.x million to buy a house, is very cruel indeed. And as I say, regarding the former royal known as Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, he's doing everything to keep a low profile, in particular to try and be supportive and do that exactly, just keep under the radar on such a very busy year for King Charles III. So far from booting him out of his home, as they're speculating in the national newspapers, it's nothing of the sort. The bottom line is he can live there for as long as he wishes, but also he may need to find ways of funding certain elements of the daily household operation. Now that is the story, and it's not as salacious as, of course, the tabloids like to print. But as ever, on this channel, we like to bring you the inside story about how that developed. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.